Hey there, it's Crystal. It's May 29th, 2025. We live in Connecticut, Zone 6B, and today I'm going to be doing a end of May garden tour. It's been raining on and off all day today, and we are forecasted to get more rain tomorrow and the next day. We had rain all last week, and we are forecasted to get even more rain next week. So I haven't really had to worry too much about watering the garden. I did water in some seeds that I started last week just because it was going to be dry for a couple days and I wanted to make sure they got watered in. But other than that, I haven't really had to worry about watering anything in the garden because, as you can see behind me, it's quite damp. We are going to be going through the garden today, just taking a look at the different things that we've been transplanting out here, most of which has been started from seed. I did buy some plants this year just because one of my dogs ended up eating some of our tomato seedlings, which I did restart, and they are doing excellent under grow lights. So I might actually end up with more tomato plants than I need, but I will find a place for them. They will get planted somewhere. We can never have too many tomatoes. We process them here. We can up our own tomato sauce and pizza sauce, whole tomatoes, diced tomatoes. I also really enjoy eating the tomatoes fresh. I have attempted to make ketchup in the past, but it didn't really come out too good. So I would like to do that again in the future. So that kind of stuff, we do go through a lot of tomatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and let our chickens out. We have officially moved our 9-week-old chicks out to the coop. They did really well last night, and we had to help them in the coop to show them the ladder to get in. But this morning they went out the door like all the other hens do. So hopefully they will catch on to the routine, and sooner rather than later. The 4 that we introduced last year took forever to learn how to get onto the roosting bar and the routine of things. It was kind of painful with them. I'm hoping that the ones that we have this year are a little bit easier, but every year is different, so we'll see. All right, let's go through the garden. I'm gonna do this as quickly as possible because it is raining. I'm not gonna have time to do it this weekend because we are gonna be going away camping, and I just wanted to make sure that I got an end of May garden tour done. Good morning. Look at you guys. Okay, I see 3, 6. So that means 2 of you are in the coop still. Hi. Are you gonna come out and play too? Come on. There you go. There you go. I think I'll start over here by the Kiwi Vines. They're looking really good. I was a little bit nervous because they seem to bud a little bit later than in previous years. And I was a little taken back by that because it had warmed up here earlier this year. And then it kind of got pretty cold, but nothing near frost temperatures. Appears to be making a comeback, and I think it'll be okay. I've got buds everywhere, all over. We got a decent harvest from them last year without the bird netting, so I'm like torn if I want to put some netting over it because, one, it's a huge eyesore just having like an enormous net over here, and I don't want to inhibit the vines in any way, and I want to make sure that they are able to dry out when they get rained on. I don't want to cause any fungal issues. Our long-term plan is to add 2 more trellises on either side. I'd hoped to do that this year, but I don't think we're going to be able to get to it. Here's our blueberries right when we walk in. If you saw our last video, you saw that I transplanted one of the blueberry plants here, and then I have these 3 still. I have them blocking the walkway because so many times when the kids walk in, they brush up against the blueberry plants, and I don't want them to knock any of the berries off the bushes. I put those there as just a reminder not to go this way and to walk around this way. Right in the front here, we have the brassica bed. I've got kale and Brussels sprouts cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, and more kale in there. So far they're doing good. I do see some weeds and crabgrass starting in the bed, so I'm going to have to get in there within the next week and just really go in there and weed. I also noticed one of the plants just straight up died, one of the cauliflower plants, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if something got at the roots, but it certainly didn't miss out on any rain. I'm not sure what happened there, but that does open up a spot for me to transplant something in there. I'm just trying to come up with something that I can grow in there. Maybe do like a square foot or more of lettuce. That way, you know, it's not something that really needs to be pollinated. Maybe some spinach I'll grow in there. But so far, everything in here is looking good. Here is the Greenstalk. I've got different herbs growing, some strawberry plants, lettuce. I have several cells left that I can start things in, but I've got some chives, basil, and more basil, different basil, and parsley. So I'm thinking I'm going to either start another round of herbs, just have different rotations of them, or different lettuce, something else, just to utilize. It's a lot of grow space there, and I want to utilize all of it. But so far, everything in here is looking great. The stuff that looks the best are the things that I've started from seed inside in the Greenstalk. So on the end of April, I direct sowed cilantro seeds in here, and that's how that's looking. And I've got some dill. So the stuff that I direct sow usually does the best. But things like sage and sweet marjoram, I did inside these little plastic containers that I had in my windowsill. Over here, I have a few different varieties of bushing garden beans. These ones I started on April 23rd, and then these ones I started on May 6th. So that's the difference. I have more beans over here. It looks like there's random potatoes growing in this bed. I did grow potatoes in here last year. I must have missed some when I was harvesting because there's a couple of plants growing in here. I've got celery and lettuce. This is the Green Towers romaine lettuce. And in the middle, I've got a yellow crookneck squash. It's a male flower there. This has become the San Marzano Roma tomato bed. I've got 6 plants over here that we bought from the store. And then I have 6-ish plants over here that I grew from seed that have been struggling since I transplanted them out here. And I'm not sure if it's because it got really cold and it stunted them, but they're sort of making a comeback. So we'll see. I also have more Romas growing inside that I'll be able to transplant out here once they're a little bit bigger. I did get some plants from a local garden nursery that looked nice, and it was a good deal. So I'm excited to see what those are because I usually grow most of what we have here from seed. I'm curious to see if maybe with homeschooling and everything, we just get so busy. Maybe I'll buy all my plant starts next year. I don't know. I've got jade bush beans started in here on May 15th. This is volunteer lettuce. I have no idea what the variety is. It might be Grand Rapids. I'm not sure. I have no idea, but I did grow lettuce in this bed last year, and one of them must have gone to seed because I did not plant that. But it looks really nice, and I'm going to harvest some of that. And then we have some kohlrabi, another zucchini plant, carrots, Napa cabbage, which looks like has gone to seed. And we have teddy bear sunflowers on the end, and some volunteer tomato plants. I had a black cherry tomato plant, I think, in this corner last year. So that must be what those are. I'm going to leave them there for now. There's quite a bit. I might thin it back to just like one or transplant other ones if they get bigger. But when I see volunteer plants like that, I usually just leave them. Behind me is the onions, and then several different varieties of tomatoes. I've got some Cracker Jack marigolds from Dollar Tree, cucumbers, sugar baby bush watermelon, and a bush pickle cucumber. And then I was able to get some peas to sprout over here. We had issues with our peas getting eaten by pests this year, so I was very disappointed, and I just kept at it. I kept sowing seeds in different locations, and I ended up with this over here. Got another zucchini in the corner and another marigold. I can't remember. I think that one's a French double dwarf marigold plant. Those seeds came from Dollar Tree. Got some acorn squash, more peas. Most of these got eaten. This is a Kelvedon Wonder Pea. It's it's a dwarf variety, so the plants don't get very big. I probably could have grown those in a container, but they'll do okay there because I have some tomato plants in here too. I've got more tomato plants that we got from the garden center. These are La Roma, gray zucchini, and purple top rutabagas in the front. This is our oregano plant I started from seed a few years ago. I would like to move this plant out of the garden bed just because it is a lot. It takes up a lot of grow space, and I should be able to essentially rip it out like a big carpet piece and move it somewhere else. I did take a big root part last year and transplant it into this container, and it was growing in that bed. It had rooted through the pot, and I moved it over here, and it's doing just fine. But I already did a big harvest of this oregano, and it's going to grow back. It's going to come back, and I'll be able to get another harvest from it. But fresh oregano is so good. It's so yummy. But that's just not, I don't know what I was thinking putting it there. We have some chives in a window box. These ones were growing over here in our old garden bed, and I transplanted them into this container, and I love the flowers on them. They're so pretty, but I'm gonna have to come back so it doesn't seed chives everywhere. They don't want that, but I'm gonna have to cut those back at some point. It's just, I love the purple flowers. They're so pretty. And then we have our sweet pepper bed and hot pepper bed. I had a difficult time getting poblano peppers started. I was using older seeds, and I only ended up with 2 plants. Next time I'm at a garden center, and if I come across poblano plants, I might pick up one just to have more, because I do love fresh poblano peppers. I threw a cocozelle zucchini in there because why not? There was an open space there, and it'll be fine. Potatoes in this container and potatoes in that container. These are Magic Molly. They're purple potatoes. They're starting to flower. Here is our cucumber bed. My cucumber plants look like crap. I didn't amend the soil this year, and I probably should have. In my mind, I had done it recently, so I didn't do it. Like, I didn't add any compost or extra garden soil or anything. And I don't know if that's what the issue is, or if it's the weird weather that we've been having, but all of them got stunted, and they're just they don't look very good. So 2 or 3 days ago, I started all new seeds, and I mean handfuls of seeds out here, and I'll thin them back a little bit. I like to generally grow 3 seeds of cucumbers together. That works out well for me. I'm able to trellis a vine, let one crawl on the ground. Sometimes one might get eaten by a slug or something, so it just kind of gives me a little of insurance. But I was really disappointed to see the silver slicers. They're a white cucumber. I transplanted 6 seedlings out here, and they all died. So I've got brand new seeds started in there. Hopefully they sprout quickly. Ground cherries here. Another zucchini there. We have the parsnips that we just started the other day in this open bottom container. And then more cucumbers, the Mexican sour gherkins. Again, I think a slug got to them, so I started more seeds. We'll see. And there's a volunteer. I think that's a Rosella cherry tomato plant because that's what I had growing here last year. So I'm gonna leave it and we'll see if we get even more cherry tomatoes. Never enough. Some containers here with different things. I've got, these are golden wax bush beans, tomato plants, carrots, bushing cucumber, or homemade pickles cucumber. I just kind of have a bunch of different stuff in here. And I have an eggplant underneath that fabric there because they were getting attacked by flea beetles. So I put the netting over it when I transplanted it, and so far it looks like it's doing well. I've got more container bush beans there. A Space Master cucumber, artichoke, and a variety of different things in the fabric pots. Behind me, we have garlic and shallots and more garlic. It's looking really good. I fertilized them at the very beginning of the month, so they will be due for fertilizing again probably next week. Normally I would do a liquid soluble fertilizer at this point where I just like water them with whatever type of fertilizer I want to use. I think I have a fish fertilizer that I used last year that I really liked. It's like Neptune something. And so I might do that, but with all the rain we're going to be getting, I might end up just doing a granular fertilizer again. I don't know. I'll have to see how I feel about it. I've got berry basket strawberries transplanted. They have a pink flower on them. I got very excited. I saw them at the garden center the day that I got the tomato plants. And so I grabbed one of the containers and I transplanted out here, and it's already shooting off like a bunch of runners. So we'll see how many plants I'm able to get. Maybe I'll be able to start a new garden bed with them. Got Alaska peas over here, Swiss chard, zucchini, some pepper plants. Got kale underneath here. I'm just trying to prevent the worms from getting to them. And I've got more different things in here, the same types of stuff, but I do have a Long Island cheese pumpkin in that corner that I will vine going all the way across in the back here. This is new. I used to grow winter squash over there, and I had it trellised with this trellis going over. So I decided to do the same thing over here, and we put one of the Vago garden beds here. It's 2 foot by 7.5 feet, I believe. And I've got baby blue pumpkins and baby bear pumpkins over here. And I'm just going to vine them this way, and then over the side. Then we have butternut squash, spaghetti squash, and honey nut squash. And in the front, I started Jacob's cattle beans. A whole bunch of them right in the front, and right next to it some more radishes because we already harvested the other ones that I grew and they came out good. But that's what that bed is looking like. Got more fabric pots, one with potatoes and tomatoes, some more kale. Got buckets to grow things in, strawberries in a container, more strawberries in a container, and then we have our big strawberry bed that we've been harvesting strawberries off of. They've been a little wonky this year as far as their appearance. They've all looked kind of strange. They taste good, they're fine, but they've all looked a little bit weird. We're also getting pests eating the strawberries. So I'm not sure if I needed to fertilize the bed. As you can see, they're just kind of like, usually they look like perfect strawberries. The ones in the beginning are funny looking, and then we get perfect strawberries, but all the ones that we're harvesting look like this. And they're also getting eaten by stuff. Got 3 brand new fabric pots full with homemade potting mix. Eggplant, looks like this sugar baby watermelon has not doing well. I'm probably gonna grab some seeds and just direct sow some and see if I'm able to get them that way. More tomatoes, different varieties of cherry tomatoes in the back, and I got eggplant and squash on either end. sweet potatoes in here, some regular potatoes, and a couple eggplants. As you can see, I really like to pack things in. I am not afraid to pack things in. I do it year after year, and it usually works out well. Having different things growing around the garden in different spots kind of acts as a little bit of insurance. For example, if I grew all of my summer squash in one bed and then something happens to that one bed, then I don't have any more planted anywhere else. Having them planted in different spots around the garden, different mediums, it kind of just gives me more chances at getting a harvest of something. Her flower bed, that's what happens to the, I think it's cat mint, but this one is cat's pajamas, and it's by Proven Winners, and that's what it looks like when we get a lot of rain. It kind of flattens out. I like it when it's like a pom-pom and just all fluffy, but when it rains this much and it's nonstop, it just kind of like lays down flat like a rug. And we have some more flowers around, lavender. I got different plants for Mother's Day. That's a salvia plant. And then this is bee balm. That's been there for a couple years now. Had some volunteer sunflowers. I don't know what they are. I'm excited to see it because I don't know what they are. But the crabgrass is already starting in here. And I have been in here weeding every day, and it's still just relentless. I've got more sunflowers growing in here. And I also have some zucchini plants, bluets and sweet williams. I got those on Mother's Day. Some pole beans, our asparagus that we're letting fern and grow before we cut it back. This is our blackberry and raspberry bed. Purple potted pole beans. I think these are sweet williams. Started them from seed last year or the year before. These are the White Carolina strawberries. They're doing well. My plan for these window boxes is I'm going to cut the flowers out in one giant root ball, hopefully, and then transplant it out here. And the same for the White Carolina strawberries. These were from bare roots. We tried a 10-pack. None of them made it. We tried another 10-pack. And 2 of them made it, and then 1 of them shot a runner off. So we ended up with 3 plants so far. And I would like to get these into a better container, fresher soil. So my plan is to cut the soil into 3 blocks and then transplant them somewhere else where I want to grow the strawberries. I cleaned up our lemon thyme, and it's making a comeback. So I also see some volunteer peas, which is exciting. Over here, I forgot to show, I've got a serrano chili pepper in a container, and these are little marvel peas from Dollar Tree. They stay quite small. I started a bunch of seeds in this container, and they're doing really well. Outside the garden, I do have some things growing too. I've got silver thyme in here. I have the trash can on it because I don't want the chickens pecking at it. This is a Big Max pumpkin underneath one of my trash can cloches from Dollar Tree. Hello, ladies. And a Connecticut field pumpkin in there. This is the State Fair winter pumpkin. There's 2 plants in there, and I just have it covered. As the plant gets bigger and stronger, I will take the cover off of it and let it vine around. As far as our fruit trees go, mostly good, I think. Some of our apple trees we transplanted in 2020, so it's been about 5 years, and I know one of them has a ton of apples on them, and I'm not sure how I want to protect them because they are, as I've noticed in previous years, are super subject to pests. Worms, ants, deer, those tent caterpillars we keep having to remove. So there's just pests usually all over our fruit trees, and we keep everything organic here. I do have organic pesticides that we use. They're just not aggressive enough many times, but we just kind of have to be persistent about it. Our almond trees are not producing yet, but they are looking good. One of them looks better than the other, but they're looking okay. And our cherry trees, we have a Stella cherry tree, which is self-fertile. We got cherries off of it one of the first years that we had it, and it was the only cherry tree we had, and it motivated me. I love cherries, so it motivated me to get another one. That time I got a Bing cherry tree to cross-pollinate with the Stella, and that one has a ton of cherries on it this year. I'm just trying to keep an eye on it though, because last year we had a decent amount and they all got eaten by ants. So I need to pay attention that ants aren't going to be a problem this year on it. If I do start noticing them on it, I'm going to just put some inside out duct tape at the bottom to prevent them from being able to climb up the tree, and we'll try it that way. We transplanted 2 peach trees last year. One of them died and one of them is not doing well. It is got covered in some sort of fungus that is turning the leaves red, and it's not looking good. I might just end up removing them so it doesn't infect any other trees. You know, I had gotten those plants pretty cheaply at Lowe's last year. I do want to grow peaches here, so I'm going to look at another local nursery that I like to buy our fruit trees from. I've gotten our kiwi vines from there, our cherry trees, some of our apple trees have come from there, and they've done really well. So I'm thinking I should just purchase my trees from places that I know it does well, unless it's a really good deal. Because like I have a couple apple trees, I think from Lowe's or Home Depot, that I got on clearance one year. It was like $15 for the tree, and it's a dwarf Macintosh, I believe, and it's doing pretty good. It's not producing apples yet, but you know, I don't expect it to for a couple more years. And then lastly, we have pear trees, and they need to be pruned back. They are huge. We put those in, I think, the same year we put our original apple trees in. So they're about 5 years old in the ground, and then they were like 2 or 3 years old when we purchased them. So they're producing, but they didn't have a lot of flowers on them. And we also didn't see a lot of bees out early this year. Just like last year, there's just not as many bees I'm noticing again. Hopefully as it warms up that changes, but we shall see. So I think that's it. I probably forgot some things, but it's okay. Let me know if you have any questions and I'll try and answer them for you in another video. But that's gonna do it for today. I hope you enjoyed our garden tour, and happy gardening wherever you are. Thanks for watching.